Hey guys, how's it going? Norchetto here. Thanks for stopping back in. So we've had some crazy news since the last time we made a video. I am going to touch on some of it. I know a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about, but we will get there. A couple things I want to talk about first are, first off, the coaching staff. We had that officially announced, who the staff was going to be, but what I wanted to touch on specifically are a couple members of the staff, one being Casores. He has been streaming recently on Twitch. Very funny guy, very interactive with the community, fun to talk to. I definitely recommend checking him out. Danny, another one of the staff, has been streaming VOD reviews, and this is incredibly insightful. If you ever see him streaming, check it out. He's been going over very analytical reviews. There's he's definitely still interactive with the chat, but it seems much more business, which is fine. I love seeing that insight. And then Dongmin, I wanted to touch on, who is our Korean English translator, has been super active in the Atlanta Discord, which I highly recommend all of you join. It's a lot of fun. We got a lot of good people in there. But Dongmin's been great. He's been just kind of riffing with us in there, and I'm gonna see if he can take me up for some bondegi when we meet up for the first time, when we do our big meetup in Atlanta, whenever that ends up happening. And yeah, for those who don't know what bondegi is, look it up. It's interesting. Yeah, join us. It'll be fun. So anyway, those are the coaching staff that I've seen active. I highly recommend checking those guys out, befriending them, talking to them, watching what they have to offer. Great group of people. Past that, I know there's been a little bit of question as to, what is the what's going on behind the scenes. Now I don't have I don't have my own leaks here. I have a little bit of hearsay from what I understand, but something I can confirm is that there was originally a Twitter account that was at Atlanta_OWL. This had a skyline of Atlanta. It was a private account, so you couldn't see anything going on. Had to request to follow, things like that. In the last couple of days, it's actually been replaced with @ATL Overwatch. So it seems like they've swapped out having Atlanta as the main word to having the word Overwatch, maybe so it's easier to find. I'm not sure, but this is still the same account. I have reason to believe this is going to be the official account, and there is work being done behind the scenes on it. So put your minds to rest. There is stuff going on. We're not being as vocal and out there as teams like DC or like Toronto, but at the same time, DC's been in the news a lot, and I don't think we really want to go there. Anyway, so moving on past that, let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to the leaks about our roster. So to go over what we talked about last time, we were picking up 1 to 3 players from Element Mystic, which is the Korean contenders team. It looks like we are going to be picking up 2 of the members, who are Pokpo and Deiko. The main tank and off tank. I theorize we might be getting Guard, who played kind of a flex role for their GOATS comp, but it looks like we're just going to be getting the tank line. I'm fine with that. These are considered one of the best, or 2 of the best tank players, one of the best tank lines in the world. I'm very happy to have them. Moving over to the support line, we have Kodak. Kodak is he is playing on Team Germany, or he was playing on Team Germany in the World Cup qualifiers. Now, they did get knocked out and got 4th place in this most recent stage, but something to consider is that not only was Kodak fragging, and a couple of his clips definitely made Reddit with how crazy they were, but France and the UK took the number 1 and 2 spots. And the only teams to take maps off of them besides each other, which, to be fair, UK did not take a map off of France. The only people to take a map off of France was Germany, who pushed them to a Game 5. And in the UK, yeah, the Germany was one of I think the only people besides France to take a map off of them. So Germany, while they ended 4th out of 6 and are not going to make it to BlizzCon, they actually had a strong showing. And the results don't show the whole story. So I do think Kodak is actually a good pickup. I think he has a lot of promise. I'm really interested as to I guess he was fragging in trials or whenever they were testing him out, and that's why they picked him up. But it's interesting that he's the one they picked. There's actually, speaking of Kodak, there's a fun video out there where the German World Cup team is doing an AMA, and about 20 minutes in, Kodak gets a phone call or text and says, "I have to take this." And his team's like, yeah, go, go, go. And then about half an hour later, he comes back, and everyone on his team sees him come back in, and they're just like, yeah, is it good? Yeah, yeah. And they seem excited. There's a lot of people are theorizing this is him finding out that he was going to be on the team, or that they want him to come back for another trial. But that's out there. It's a fun watch. So yeah, Kodak, he's going to be one of our support players. I saw him playing Zen. I saw him playing some Ana, so it looks like he can go back and forth. I'm not sure if they're planning on making him main support, off support. I'm not really sure. It does look like he is more of a straight support player, not like a flex support. So there's a chance we might be looking to pick up a flex support. Moving on from there, we picked up a gentleman by the name of Erster, who is a Genji player from a Chinese contenders team called Lucky Future Zenith. Now, if you don't know who Lucky Future Zenith are, they are really good. There's been 2 seasons of contenders in China. They won both of them. I don't know a whole lot about the Chinese scene, but from what I can tell in the little bit that I've researched, if you want to pick up someone from a Chinese team, LFZ is the team to pick it up from. They are fantastic. And I know we don't hear a whole lot about Chinese Overwatch play, and that's a lot because of the politics regarding China and the fact that I think Twitch just got banned in China. They have their own streaming services, but with 4 Chinese teams that are going to be in the Overwatch League team, watch out for the Chinese teams, and watch out for players coming out of that region. There's going to be a lot of talent, and I think a lot of people are going to be underestimating and sleeping on the Chinese talent. So after that, we have oh God help me, Inlair. I'm not sure. I think it's Inlair. He is a Russian player that was on last night's Leftovers. Now, you may remember last night's Leftovers was the team that Coach Brad Orsefi has most recently coached before he left and came to Atlanta. He was coaching for Selfless, which was his organization. Then he was coaching for San Francisco Shock. Then he was coaching for last night's Leftovers. So he is bringing over one of his players from last night's Leftovers, who looks to be more of a maybe a hit scan, a Tracer, McCree, Widow player. But I have a feeling he's going to be most likely the backup hit scan player, because the big news, of course, is that Dafran not only applied and trialed for the Atlanta team, but he is also rumored, leaked, however you want to put it, to have been approved by Blizzard, and we are going to be seeing Dafran in an Atlanta jersey in Season 2. This is huge. This is huge. There's so much controversy around this. There's as much controversy around this as someone like XQC getting signed. Slightly different reasons, slightly similar reasons. We can definitely get into that. But this is fantastic. If you don't know, Dafran is widely considered to have quite possibly the best tracking and the best aim in the world at this game. He is incredible. If you haven't had a chance, I mean, you can just go and type in Dafran pops off or Dafran clips and watch him play. It is absolutely astounding to watch him track. I think the easiest example to bring up is that he went one-on-one with a soldier standing pretty much next to him. He was on Soldier 76. The opponent was on Soldier 76. The opponent popped his tac visor. Dafran killed him first, because tac visor doesn't do headshots, it's all body shots, and Dafran was able to track him jumping around so well and get more headshots than body shots and kill him first. That is insane, to be able to outkill a Soldier 76 who is ulting. That is nuts. This man is insane. But there is controversy. There is a lot of controversy around Dafran. Anywhere you look, you're going to find a very divided community about this man, and with very good reason. And I kind of wanted to touch on a couple of things, and I kind of wanted to play a couple videos to kind of illustrate, you know, where a lot of this controversy comes from, and kind of my feelings and kind of where we're going with it. So first off, Dafran was he played on Selfless. He played under Coach Brad. He actually lived in a team house in Atlanta, and played with people like Sinatra and was like Dak and you know, people like that, Emong, and yeah, so he played with Coach Brad. He has this history with the Selfless organization and Coach Brad, so that might be one of the reasons he is coming back under his leadership and going to Atlanta. It may be that he was the only coach that would really want him to try out. Or it may be that Dafran really wanted to reach back out to someone he respected and, you know, cared about. But the controversy. So Dafran, like many esports players or video game players in general, it can be a little childish and can be a little toxic. He's definitely said some things he probably shouldn't have said on stream. He has definitely been childish in the way he's acted and some of the way he's acted when he gets tilted. A lot of us have been there. I would say that we should be at least understanding of getting tilted and saying things we don't quite mean, but that doesn't excuse the childish behavior, especially not on a stage when you're playing at the pro level in an event. Now, most of this stuff was on his stream, from what I understand, but that doesn't excuse it as if it didn't happen. So the first thing I really want to talk about is this video that's been going around of Dafran throwing the end of a match in contenders. So this was actually a pro tournament. This is them going in, and he has a blade on Genji. They're running out of time. They've almost lost the round, and he just blows his cooldown. He blows his ult in spawn, doesn't group up with his team, jumps around a little bit, and then jumps off the edge and kills himself. But yeah, I'll go ahead and play the clip real quick.
Wait, where did that happen?
In spawn?
What? Fat fingered? Or maybe he's just using it to get out there faster? I don't know.
Why is he not with his team? Dafran?
That means the map is over, by the way.
Dafran has given up. Dafran's given up. I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I guess, you know, you just move on and that's it, but like, something I don't like about that.
The phrase is...
So, you know, as you can see, especially the casters with them talking about it, they were confused. They didn't like how it looked. It looks like he just gave up, which, yeah, it seems like poor sportsmanship. And this really caught on. A lot of people didn't like this, but there was a second side to this story. And from what I understand, a lot of his teammates came out and said that there was another side of the story. He wasn't just throwing. They had a rough time and had basically said, okay, we're about to lose this. Let's just kind of regroup and get ready for the next map. Some people went to point instinctively. Other people, like Dafran, just kind of jumped around. He didn't do it intentionally. This is not only out of the words of Emong, but several other teammates. But most recently, I believe last week, when this news started to leak and people were asking him about his old teammate, Emong made a video, there's a clip on Twitch of him during a stream talking about this, and we'll go ahead and go to this to see what he has to say.
All right, I'll talk about it for a second. I just want to address this. We stopped even remotely talking about that rest of that map. We were already talking about what we were gonna do next because the map was basically it was done. It was over. We kind of nonchalantly chose heroes to go to the point without any communication, just naturally. We had half the people weren't even like in their chairs. Like we were already talking about what we wanted to do next map. I think we had King's Row next maybe or something like that, or we had something else. Like we were done. We were already on to the next map. The thing is that some of us went to the point, like, just, like, naturally.
Right, I'm gonna
like,
go back
that's it. Like,
this.
there was no, like, okay, guys, we're touching point. There was literally...
No, Mercy.
It wasn't, like, what people thought it was. It wasn't, like, someone just...
No. Mercy? No.
That's basically it. Like, that's it.
Okay.
Like, that was literally it. There was nothing else to it.
So, like, in the court of public opinion, it seems like he was marked as a, had a black mark put on him, and even though people came out and said that it wasn't just him throwing, that's not the narrative that came out, and that's not the narrative that stuck. So this is one of those situations that gets brought up a lot that I don't think was fair at all. You could say that, yeah, he probably should have regrouped and gone to point, at least tried, maybe turn everything around, but he was tilted, man. We all get that way, and it's not like he threw his teammates under a bus and said, you know, screw this, I'm not doing it. His teammates knew what were up. No one was upset with him. The community was upset with him, not his teammates or organization. The people that actually had the information weren't really upset. So that happened. I actually don't think that is that big a deal, but we can get into some worse stuff. So throw for Dafran. Hashtag throw for Dafran. Dafran went on a throwing spree where he started throwing games. He started telling his followers to go and throw games. There was a while where he was one-tricking Torbjorn, putting turrets in really weird places, and had a window with like Gordon Ramsay clips on it in front of the left side of his screen, so all you could see was like the crosshair on the right side of the screen, and that's how he was playing. It was bad. It was really bad. Throwing matches, not caring at all, just doing weird stuff, not working together, not working at a team. There's no, you shouldn't have done that. There's no good reason to hurt the people that you're playing with, hurt the teammates, and especially to encourage people to go out and hurt the game for other people. It's not a good thing. It's really not. It's not something you should ever do. I'm upset with not only him, but the people who followed through and did that for him or with him or however they felt like they were doing it. It's really childish and should have never happened. And I will come back to that. I do want to talk about that a little bit more. But he also admitted to boosting, which again, as much as you shouldn't do that, he is not the only player in the OWL who has done that. I understand that, or from what I understand, the amount of money you get not playing at OWL levels, especially before the Overwatch League even existed, was not great. A lot of people used to use boosting to supplement their income for when they weren't getting paid enough. And especially these smaller organizations like Selfless, they couldn't pay a assload of money to their players. So yeah, he admitted to boosting. Shouldn't have done that. And he had also put out a couple of twitlongers where he was talking about throwing and he was talking about doing stuff. And essentially he'd say, hey, I wanted to apologize for throwing. And then you open it up and it would just say, trolled, Just very, very super childish stuff you would kind of expect from the internet, but you don't want to expect from a pro player. So yeah, but in regards to all that, Coach Brad came out in an interview a few months ago with Jane. He was on Jane's stream talking specifically about Dafran. I'm gonna play these clips about what he had to say about this whole situation and where Dafran was at.
Dafran wanted to throw in the towel. He wanted to go home. And the team, but this, so here's the background, and this is, people should try to be forgiving of Dafran, okay? Because I just want to give some perspective. Imagine that you're on a team. You're like number 3 on Gosu Gamers. You're one of the best teams in the West. You're one of the best at what you do. Okay, nobody in the world can really do what you do as well as you do, or very few people can do what you do as well as you do. And all you get for all of your grinding and all of your effort, okay, is to be paid $1,700 a month by Brad. Okay, that's what I paid my players, $1,700 a month. Okay. Because we're a small org. Okay, you're paying $1,700 a month, and you live in like a shitty team house in Atlanta. You don't even have a door. You actually live in like the dining room next to the kitchen, and we just have like a curtain hanging over the doorway, right? So people are making milkshakes in the morning. Yeah, you're not sleeping. You're waking up. You do this for like months and months and months on end. You don't get invited to any LANs. Selfless was never invited to a single LAN event.
Why was
we were
that?
Passed over by the bigger orgs, right? By the name brands, right? We were passed over.
Okay.
And then there was like this drought of LANs, right? Leading up to the launch of the Overwatch League, there was like a big drought of LANs where there were no LANs. So Selfless was never invited to a single LAN. We were passed over for multiple Alienware monthly melees, even though we were winning like 100% of scrims behind the scenes. Like we got passed over twice or something like that. Eventually, we do get invited, and we tear it up, and then we lose to Rogue. But like we go through all of this effort to get recognized. The whole time they're basically like living in poverty. Dafran's making less from me at Selfless than he would make working at a Danish McDonald's, because McDonald's in Denmark pay like, I don't know, 12, 13 what he was making at Selfless. And so you just do this. You go through this grind. It's like agonizing grind because your love of the game and your love of competition. And then at some point it's not materializing. You're not getting the hot girls and the big money and the big salary and the big, $5 million mansion, team house. Like none of that's actually panning out, right? Which is like the esports dream. At some point, you're going to be like, man, what am I doing? And so yeah, he wanted to throw in the towel. He wanted to go home, but we had contenders coming up. It was going to be our last tournament, right? And like we all agreed, the whole team knew contenders is going to be the last tournament. This is it. Like
even if you won it.
Even if we won it, yeah, because I'm losing too much money, right? I'm losing like a couple $100,000. I'm going to shut down the org soon, regardless. Like I can't do it anymore, right? So I'm going to shut this thing down right after contenders. Let's go make a name for ourselves in contenders, and then let's call it quits. But contenders was still like 2 months out. Maybe it was 2 months, maybe it was 1 month. I don't know. It was a ways out. So Dafran wanted to go home. The whole team was like begging him, like, "Oh, dude, just stick it out with us," But he was being pressured by the team. He was being peer pressured by the team to stay. He was being peer pressured by me, by his teammates, by everybody who's like, man, we just, we're all here trying to make it. This is the last tournament. Let's just go for it, And, the pressure was just too much for him. But we put him in that situation. And the state of Overwatch put him in that situation. It was not like a stable living condition for him. He didn't have a door for months. He didn't have his own personal space. He didn't have a good salary. He didn't have any of that stuff. So for him to, have a little bit of a breakdown, and to throw on stream and then go home to Denmark, I totally forgive the guy. His teammates forgive him. Like I just, I get emotional about this because like I just see all the hate and it makes me upset because that's not how all of us felt.
So yeah, that's it, man. If anyone out there has ever felt helpless and depressed and stuff like that, you do some stupid stuff. And apparently he was not in a good place mentally. A lot of people throw out, I think there's a video from a popular YouTuber I saw saying that, this kid was working at McDonald's. He had a chance to do what he loved. But as Brad pointed out, what people don't bring up is that in the Netherlands, you can actually make good money working at McDonald's because of the wages they pay there. It's not like someone was working for shekels at a McDonald's in the U.S. and they got this huge opportunity and just decided to blow it. No, he was displaced. He was living in a shithole. He was not getting paid a whole lot of money. He was not getting rest, and he snapped a little bit, man. I mean, that's not an excuse for the things he did and who it affected, but to at least give some perspective about where his head was at, that's huge. And I think that Brad is right in that we should be a little bit more willing to forgive him if, and here's the if he proves that he is worthy of redemption. Because that's something that's happened in the Overwatch League that with Overwatch in general, that a lot of people don't quite realize. One of the poster boys of the Overwatch League is Jake, who plays for the Outlaws, Jake Rat. He told someone to kill themselves like a year ago in the months before Overwatch, and now he's in like commercials and going on interviews on Megyn Kelly. People have redemption arcs, people have redemption stories, and people are redeemable. You can't just throw people out with the trash. That being said, Dafran needs to prove himself. He's jumping contenders. He's jumping straight up to the top level, and he's doing so riding this wave of controversy. He needs to buckle down. He needs to, frankly, just keep your head down, keep your mouth shut. I think we all learned from XQC that people, when you're such a divisive personality, people are going to be quick to judge you very harshly and want to keep a very close eye on you. So I'd say with Dafran, the best thing he can do is keep his head down, be a good sport, and just pop the hell off next season. And I really think there's a chance for a redemption arc. I don't want to be a blind fanboy. If he does questionable things, I absolutely think he should be benched. I believe that's why we have Inlair. He kind of has the same. He's a hit scan player as well. And I think if Dafran starts getting in a bad mental place, or he's being childish, or he's not doing what he's supposed to do, I think and I hope that Brad will straight up bench him and prevent him from doing anything. Hopefully, if there's a contenders team, that we can relegate him to that if anything bad happens, or just straight kick him off the team. If he gets kicked off the team because he hasn't straightened up his act, I'm not going to cry for him. But if he can come back and he can clean up his act and he can be an amazing pro player with a good head on his shoulders and be a nice guy and be a good sport, I can't wait. I can't wait for our team. So that's it, guys. That's what we got coming. Most recently, we have heard that Dafran has been approved by Blizzard. Again, these are just leaks. And since that leak came out, actually, Coach Brad has posted on his YouTube channel a Dafran clip, which I think is a little nod to us, the fans. So definitely check that out. And yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think about Dafran. I know he's very polarizing. Let me know anything about this whole roster. I know we really focused on Dafran, but people like Kodak, Inlayer, for anybody who is super familiar with Last Night's Leftovers, Erster, if anybody knows anything about Chinese contenders and watch this guy play, please let me know. I'd love to hear more. And obviously the Element Mystic folks. So yeah, check that out. Let me know. And until we get more news, I'll see you guys later.